Good evening and welcome to the Winthrop School Committee meeting of Monday, April 26, 2021. This meeting will be held both live and through Zoom teleconference. Patty, can you please call the roll call?
Yes, Ms. Barry, Mr. Boncory.
Here.
Mr. Capabianco.
Here.
Mr. Matucci.
Here.
Ms. Swope.
Here.
Ms. Powell.
Present.
Mr. Perrin.
Here. Pledge allegiance. Ms. Eccles, will you lead us in the Pledge allegiance?
We get you that flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
United States
United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty
and
and
justice
justice for
for
all.
all.
Thank you. Patty, do we have any public comment this evening?
We do not.
Okay,
Oh,
moving
I'm
on,
sorry.
we have-
Yes, we do. I'm sorry. Karen Chavez.
Hi, it's Karen Chavez. I know you don't answer questions during this period, but I wonder if I could just interject something that maybe the superintendent could answer during her report. What is going to happen now with the John and Abigail Adams scholarships, where they were based on the MCAS? That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That's a very interesting question.
I can answer that now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's my understanding that students are still going to be able to take the MCAS to qualify for the John and Abigail Adams scholarship, and it's still going to be an active scholarship for our students, Karen. That's what I know as of now. So I can get some more clarity on it, and Lori, you can jump in if you want, but I'm 99% sure that is the case.
Yes, I believe on the last student assessment update, they talked about the fact that it would still be available to any students that wanted to go for it. The only change in the MCAS requirement really is that you can go another route to get your competency determination if you're in this class of 2021 or 2022, but you still can use the route of MCAS. And that would allow the scholarship to be eligible for the scholarship. But yeah, we can get some more information in writing so people can take a look at it themselves.
Thank you, Laurie. And Karen, thank you for that question. That's very interesting. Very important question. Do we have any further public comment, Patty?
Yes, we do. I have Mr. Lederman, James Lederman, but I cannot, I can't bring him over unless I bring him over as a panelist. I think it's on that old Zoom, like we had those issues before.
Can't bring him over as a panelist. No. Maybe you can upgrade, and if he comes back in later this evening, we'll take it back up for public comment. We can upload the newest version.
Okay. Okay, so other than that, there's no one else for public comment.
Okay, moving on. We have no delegates or visitors this evening. We have the minutes of April 5th, 2021. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Motion to accept.
I have a motion by Mr. Boncory to accept, a second by Mr. Matucci. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. Patty, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Boncory,
Yes.
Mr. Capabianco,
Yes.
Mr. Matucci,
Yes.
Ms. Swope,
Yes.
Ms. Powell,
Yes.
Mr. Perrin.
Yes. Okay, moving on, we have financial and business procedures. We have warrant SVW 21-18 in the amount of $319,299.46. I'll entertain a motion for that warrant. And that amount. Motion by Mr. Matucci. Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that Ms. Swope that was
Yes.
that second that?
Yes.
Ms. Swope, the second. Any discussion on the warrant? Hearing none. Patty, can you call the roll for the roll call vote, please?
Mr. Boncory,
Yes.
Mr. Capabianco,
Yes.
Mr. Matucci,
Yes.
Ms. Swope,
Yes.
Ms. Powell,
Yes.
Mr. Perrin.
Yes. We now have a payroll warrant SPC 21-19 in the amount of $737,099.90. Do I have a motion for that amount, the warrant in that amount?
Motion?
Motion by Ms. Powell,
Second.
second by Ms. Swope. Any discussion on the payroll warrant? Hearing none. Can I have a roll call vote, Patty, please, for the record?
Mr. Boncory?
Stay.
Mr. Capabianco?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Stay.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Perrin?
Staying. Okay, there are no budget transfers this evening,
No. No.
Okay, and there are no buildings and grounds. So we're coming to the reports section, subcommittee reports on curriculum. Ms. Swope, can you bring us through the minutes of the curriculum subcommittee?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We covered about 10 questions that were posed by the curriculum committee to Ms. Galvin, which she answered. So I'll go through those. First, what will be the measures of academic performance for this year? As she mentioned, the measures for academic performance for this year will be the same. We use Renaissance Star reading and math assessments for grades 2 and 8 in ELA and 3 through 8 in math. iReady is used for math at the 2nd grade level, and we're conducting early literacy screening in the fall at both kindergarten and 1st grade levels. Also, screening for early literacy intervention / dyslexia is mandatory beginning this year. Ms. Shevitz dialed in and asked if MCAS and SATs would be given. And the answer is, as of right now, they're both still happening. Apparently, there's work being done by the Mass Superintendents Association in an attempt to have the MCAS suspended, but at this time it's going forward. However, the results are used for the purposes of internal purposes, not necessarily accountability. The second question was, will summer school be available? And if so, will it be available to all those who request it? And will there be a charge? And Lori's answer to that is that summer school is available to high school students if they have a failing grade for the year and an average of 45 or higher and need credits to pass with an average grade. And funds are available if this is a hardship for students. We do have a program called Edgenuity where we do offer courses. If a student wanted to get credits over the summer for advanced work, there is usually a $500 charge for that. Usually, we've not used it in the past, but if there was enough interest in it, we could look into it if there is an interest. 3, what do you and others see as a result of the isolation that many students have experienced? Are additional mental health services needed? Are we able to adequately provide this assistance if needed? That means staff, funding, facilities. Lori's answer to that is that we are addressing these issues on a case-by-case basis. Additional funding is available if there's a need for positions for social, emotional, or academic social, emotional support. Funding is coming through for the next 3 years in ERISA, am I pronouncing that right? ERISA funds.
ESSER.
Is that right?
ESSER.
ESSER, sorry. Number 4, have any of the following measures changed during COVID? I thought this was most interesting. And we ask what suspected percent expected to graduate, percent expected to take P courses or exams, percent completing college applications, percent completing courses successfully, meaning C or better, percent of absentees, percent of dropout rates, percent of dual enrollment in Salem University, sorry. Overall, the results are about the same as of other years, but we also build our work around individual differences in each child. We have seen an increase in dual enrollment with Salem University. Number 5, will next year's curriculum increase due to this year's experiences? We do not anticipate changes in the curriculum itself, but we will know more once we are better able to understand the data, and target learning gaps. 6, what progress has been made on using understanding by design to meet the foundational element 2.2a written curriculum for all departments across the school as recommended by NEASC. As you remember, that was part of the NEASC report. And we are using the remote Wednesdays to work on writing the curriculum. And I think Lori reports that we've made progress in that regard. Number 7, in the NEASC report, teachers identified learning gaps and social emotional issues, particularly with incoming freshmen. And at that time, teachers were struggling at the time to assist students' learning gaps due to limited programs and initiatives. And is this still the case? And have we made progress? So we have developed new goals in this. The high school site council has worked on this, and a transition program for incoming freshmen will be a part of a school improvement goal. And this program will begin in 8th grade. And 2 more questions. Were we able to hire a library media specialist? We talked about that in one of our last meetings, and we discussed some alternatives, but we are working on hiring someone. We interviewed candidates, but we haven't found the right fit yet. And Mr. Crombie will request the position after, or repost the position after April vacation. Number 9, I know that one parent was very interested in whether we're teaching the 16-19 curriculum. And we are not teaching the 19-16, I'm sorry, 16-19 curriculum, but that's not to say that many are not, we're not referenced by a staff, that's not referenced by a staff or a student, but it's not part of our instruction. And finally, our question was, while this year has been a year like no other, I believe that the end result may have provided some opportunities for learning that we could only have imagined a year ago. And I would love to hear yours, meaning Lori's, some positive changes that have taken place and might benefit the future education of our students. And Lori's response to that is, what we have learned is that education can change, innovation can take place, and conditions like this push teachers to think creatively. We'll probably give Lori the committee will probably give Lori some additional questions, requested they be answered in the final report, but I thought this was a really step forward. She did a great job. And if you have any questions, as those that are watching this forum, please feel free to contact Ms. Howard, Ms. Gallivan, or me, so that we can address your questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Suzanne. We appreciate that. We have Superintendent's Report this evening. Ms. Howard, do you have a report for us this evening?
I do. However, there's one more subcommittee report that would come out of teacher negotiation subcommittee, and that would be Ms. Powell, correct?
I think that needs to go. I think that needs to go to an executive session before it goes out into the public session.
Okay.
So that the whole committee can have an opportunity to weigh in.
So we're
holding on that until we can have an executive session at our next meeting.
Okay. So yes, Superintendent Report. I'm going to grab the microphone so you can hear me better. Hopefully this is better audio. So a few updates. I'm going to start with the athletics. Our football team, as many know, if you didn't hear, the police and fire bringing our students back from the NEC South Championship. You must have been in a good sleep because you could hear it all over town. So congratulations to our football team, all the staff, and certainly all the parents that put efforts into getting their students to school healthy and safe and allowing us to compete in that tournament and to win. Our cheering girls came in second in the virtual competition. I had the opportunity to watch them. They did the competition here in the gym. It was videotaped and submitted, and they came in second. I quite frankly think they should have come in first. I know it was by a small margin that they came in second, but they did a phenomenal job, and we were happy to be able to have their parents in attendance and watch them perform for a larger crowd virtually, which was, again, somewhat of a new experience for us. So congratulations to the cheering group. And then a couple of other milestones in athletics. Both Tracy and Butchie Martucci both hit milestones in their coaching careers this year. Tracy, who is our varsity soccer coach, capped off her 100th win, and that was in girls soccer. And Butch capped off his 150th win as the girls hockey coach. So congratulations to both of them. Must be something in the food they're eating over there at that house to have that coaching staff be so successful. So they've had some great players on their teams, but a great team comes with great coaching, motivation, and support of our students. So thank you to both of them. For anyone who has been following our furniture, dilemma and success, all of our desks have been assembled and put into the middle and high school. And that was done the Friday before vacation, as well as a few days over vacation. That was done well, and everything was put into place. We were a handful of desks in the amount of about 60 desks short. However, we continued to use some of the desks that we had borrowed from the old middle school, and we're expecting the additional desks to arrive any day now, and there'll be no interruption to learning. We can do those desks off hours, so we're excited about that. Some new technology, just a technology update. Throughout the process, we've been increasing our technology K-12. One of our goals for the last several years has been to increase the technology at the Gorman-Fort Banks and at the Cummings School. This particular middle school, high school was outfitted very well for technology. So as you got to the middle school and high school, you had some great access, and we wanted to reel that back to make sure that we started our younger students out with some equivalent access. So during this time frame, and with monies from ESSER 1 and the ESSER 2 grants, which do allow for purchasing of technology to increase access during COVID, we were able to outfit the Gorman-Fort Banks School with 5 classrooms in first grade and 5 classrooms in kindergarten. Both groups have 7 classrooms. So 5 of the 7 classrooms received new Epson Bright Links, which are projectors in the classroom. And the other 2 classrooms in the kindergarten and first grade will be getting Clear Touches. Those have been ordered and will be delivered and installed soon. Clear Touches are the large TVs and now the new name for them, the upgraded version, is called a Touch View, where students are able to come up to the actual really, really large TV and do work by hand on that large TV screen. So we're excited about that. The second grade classrooms are also getting Touch Views, and those are due to arrive this month. At the Cummings School, we have a lot of older Epson Bright Links systems, so we've evaluated all of those, and we knew that we needed to upgrade many of them. So those that were working are remaining, and any that needed to be upgraded are ordered and will begin to be installed this month as well. We have upgraded some of them already, but there are several more. We also are getting 6 additional Touch Views, so those large televisions that will be on carts. So they'll be available to be moved into a classroom if that's what they so choose to use for that time frame. So we're very excited about that upgrade in access to more up-to-date technology for the classrooms. Some information on COVID tracing and tracking. So we've been concerned, as you all know, with COVID and with reducing our distancing from 6 feet to 3 feet in classrooms, what that might do in terms of the number of students that may have to isolate or quarantine if another student around them is diagnosed with COVID. So the CDC has recently caught up with the reduction in distancing that's being allowed across the state in schools and in restaurants. So I put that new guidance, just came out recently. So they have lessened the amount of close contacts that we will have to quarantine in a 3-foot and a 6-foot realm. So I just shared that with you today, came out, I believe, on Friday. so I didn't have a chance to get it in your packet. I'll be happy to answer questions after you've had time to read through that. And if there are deep questions, I will have Tara Bowie, who is our COVID nurse leader here, or Meredith Hurley be available to help answer. But the good piece and the good news out of it is that we will have to isolate or quarantine less students than we would have otherwise had to have a week ago, now that they've revised this guidance. I also put in your packet a copy, or had emailed to you today, a copy of the transportation guidance. We've been working on transportation for our students that live 2.1 miles or beyond. So those are the students that we, by law, have to offer transportation to school. Those are kids in grades kindergarten through 6th. So we've reached out to all the parents of students who fit that category. Most of those students live at the far end of the point, and we pick them up as we did last year with a smaller school van and bring them to school. This year, because it's been this year, and because of the difficulties we've had in terms of getting all of our kids into school, and now that we are all back in school, being able to transport students is a little bit tricky. So we have mapped it out, and we're still working on determining how many parents are going to make use of it. But I wanted you to see the transportation guidance, because that too has been updated, and no longer do we have to, on the school buses, there was a map of how you had to seat students, every other seat, corner to corner. All that guidance has been lifted. However, there are still some restrictions, such as the windows in the vehicle need to remain down. I believe it's 2 inches, 2 to 4 inches down. Students have to have masks on. We still have to follow a great deal of protocol in terms of cleaning. So I just wanted to give you that update so that you could see that. We hope to be able to offer that transportation for our students down the point, again, in kindergarten through 6th grade, hopefully by next week, if we can get everybody to respond. So we're reaching out to parents by phone and following up with phone calls and emails to get that response so we can finalize those routes. Senior activities, because they're coming. Graduation is coming. Graduation is going to be June 4th. It's going to be on Miller Field. As of right now, all senior activities as planned in years past, we're hoping to be able to run with the restrictions and guidance that we received from the Department of Education as well as the CDC. As of this moment, those restrictions are tight. So if I'll speak to graduation, it will be no different than it was last year as of right now. We're watching it day to day to see how things are going and what opportunity we have to be more inclusive and to allow students to have more family members attend. We can't commit to that just yet. We want to give our kids the best chance of having as many folks able to come and attend. So we're watching it every day and working with Meredith Hurley and the town just to make sure that we're able to meet the protocols and the guidance. But again, our goal is to give the kids as much as we can. Next school committee meeting or prior to, I will have for you details of things like class night, the prom, and any additional senior activities that are happening so that you're aware of exactly what our students are doing. But we are getting excited. I think graduation last year, we pulled it off. I think it went very well. Parents were overwhelmingly happy. You know, certainly we didn't want graduation to be the way it was, but for us, it wasn't a drive-by graduation, which is something none of us wanted. We wanted our kids to be in front of us, and we were able to do that. So we have no doubt we'll be able to do that again. What we'd like to do is just make it more accessible for our parents. So we're working on that and for our students. Let me see if I have anything else. Laurie, I don't know if you want to give a short, oh yeah, fall season 2, sorry. Fall season 2 is over. It ended on Friday, and today we started spring athletics, just in case you see our track stars out there, our baseball players out there. We're excited to get spring athletics up and running. And then just to jump to Laurie, I don't know if you want to give just a quick update on MCAS. I know that Suzanne spoke about it prior, but I think you may want to add just a little bit more to that.
Sure. So as Suzanne said, as of right now, everything's still going forward. Everybody's scheduled their MCAS dates. I'm sure families have either just been notified or are going to be notified now that we're back about what those particular dates are. In grades 3 through 8, the ELA and the math MCAS will be given to all students still, only instead of 2 sessions of each, there's only 1 session of each this year. So they've cut MCAS by 50%. So ELA and math for grades 3 through 8. Grade 5 and grade 8 will also take science. The high school sophomores will still take the ELA and the math. And in June, the science will be given to 9th graders. I don't know if you saw, but just last week, I think it was, the Board of Education determined that as the class of 2022 also will not be required to have to pass the MCAS for the graduation requirement. They will be able to do it through other means. So kids can still opt to take the assessment, but it is not mandatory for 11th grade. At the middle school, they have scheduled, I know, to take them all on their early release days. They reached out to DESE and it was approved for them to give their assessments on the early release days. And they've also been participating in a pilot. One group, just the Bruins 8th grade team, has been participating in the civics pilot for the Department of Education. They've taken 2 parts of it so far, and they will complete the 3rd and final part in June. So this is really something that's been really interesting to be a part of, and Mr. Rowley has been doing a great job, and Mr. Curley in connecting with everyone at DESE to really see what this can look like moving forward in the future. So everybody's on target. All of the access testing has either, in some schools, it's already been given and done and packed up and all set. In other schools, they're doing it right now. So the ELL students are also taking their access assessments. So again, we don't know for sure. You know, I think what Suzanne mentioned earlier was the work that the Superintendents Association is doing to try to work with the commissioner to, you know, if what they're saying about MCAS is that it really is not going to be for accountability reasons, and it's really for schools and districts to be able to have one more measure of where their students are falling in order to plan, then I know that what the Superintendents Association is still working with the commissioner, because they're going to ask them to embargo the results. That if it's not for accountability and you can in no way, shape, or form compare any 2 districts, because we are not forced to give it to everybody. Kids who stay remote only have to take it if their parents choose to send them in to take it. We offer it. It's scheduled for all students who are remote to have the option to come in to take it on certain dates. But if they don't choose to, it makes the reliability of the data very skewed. So the Superintendents Association is pushing that, okay, great, if we're still taking it, it's only for us to use, then they're encouraging the superintendent to embargo the data so it only goes to the districts themselves. Whether that happens or not is still in the works. Other than that, I think all of our schools are in good shape and set up, and I think the majority of our remote students are coming in to take it, from what I've heard from the principals.
Thank you, Lori. We appreciate that update.
The only 2 things I have left is just May 5th is walk or bike to school day. So you'll get more, parents will receive more from their building principals about that. And we have a clothing drive. The Winthrop High School Parent Teachers Club is running a clothing drive through Wednesday, April 28th. So if you have bags of clothes that you want to bring down, they're accepting wearable clothes, shoes, pocketbooks, other items such as bedspreads, throws, used toys, and the like. They've asked for no junk, please. The trailer is at the public landing. I know it was closed one day. They had the door shut because of the rain. It doesn't look like we have a lot of rain in the future. So if you have stuff to drop off, please get it down there by April 28th. And that will be the end of my superintendent report.
Okay, Ms. Howard, do we have any personnel matters this evening?
So we do not have any appointments, resignations, and the like.
I know we touched upon computers and technology. I received an email from a parent concerned that with the turning in of the computers, that some students may not have the access, either internet or hardware, to participate in any classes. I just wanted to make sure that we assured parents that there is a safety net in place, that if a student doesn't have a laptop or a desktop computer to work from or internet access, that we do have a safety net in place.
So we do. So now that we're back to full in-person learning, although we still have many students who are learning from home and remaining fully remote, the fully remote students have kept their laptops and they have received any internet support services. They have kept those as well. We have asked our students to bring back the Chromebooks that they took home when they were on either hybrid or fully remote. And we've asked them to bring those back because they need to use them during school. And if they need to use them when they're at home, if there is a need for a student to quarantine, or if there is a perceived day that we would have to have, or several days that we would have to have students learning from home, they'd be able to take those back and forth. We also have a system in place with parents that they can reach out to the principal if there's an extenuating need where their child is in school but still needs something at home. But in terms of the total number of Chromebooks we have across the district, we would need double the amount of Chromebooks that we have. And we were not, back prior to COVID, we were not a one-to-one Chromebook school district. We were one-to-one in grades 9 through 12. And certainly since COVID, we've built our cadre to become one-to-one K through 12. However, one-to-one means one computer assigned per child and not two. So it would be difficult to allow kids to keep them all at home as well as have one in school. But if there is an extenuating circumstance, please reach out to your principal, and the principal certainly will work with you to make sure that your family is if you're in need of something, they can work with you individually. Brian, I think Sue has a question.
Thank you. Ms. Swope?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lisa, I just want to ask, so can a student bring this Chromebook back and forth? Or does he have to? Okay.
So traditionally, high school students bring their Chromebooks back and forth.
How about elementary?
Middle school students and elementary school students, that's not what we're doing with them now unless there is a need, just because of their age and their ability to handle the backpack and all kinds of cords and paraphernalia that goes along with their Chromebooks. So as of right now, there is no expectation, just the high school level.
All right, so their homework that would be assigned would not be on a Chromebook for an elementary school child.
Laurie, I don't know if you had.
For the most part, Suzanne, yes, to as much as possible, because we know that not every child has one at home. Most of the people I know have reached out to the principals if there is a need within a family. But I did want to add too that Mr. Curley had extended the Chromebooks. So the middle school Chromebooks, they're not going to be collected until the end of June, so that they are home just in case any student has to quarantine or is unable to come into school, so that all kids will have access. He has enough for the amount that they're using. A lot of teachers now that we're back are trying to get the kids away from the computers while they're in person as much as possible. So he has enough that they're not collecting the middle school until the end of June. So 6 through 12 should be all set when it comes to that. If there isn't a circumstance like Superintendent Howard said, they should just reach out to Miss Pearson or Mrs. Grimes to have one sent home in case there's a extended absence for a student at one of the elementaries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, new business, moving on to 2021-2022 school calendar, anticipated vote. Ms. Howard, you want to bring us through that?
Sure. So I think initially we sent you the wrong calendar in the packet, and I believe Patty had sent you out the new calendar, I believe today. So we're just to get the general calendar up and running. It is the one that was sent to you today via email. So just let me refer to this for 1 sec. So we wanted to get the first day of school out there. I know there are parents that are planning for summer programming as well. So what we would like to have is the first day of school for teachers be August 30th, and the first day for students be the day after Labor Day, which would be Tuesday, September 7th. In the calendar, we have our noted holidays, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, and the noted holidays, the April vacation, February, as well as the Christmas and winter break. So the one thing that we have not totally landed on yet, because we're still working with our district-wide professional development, is the dates of the half-days. So half-days are used for curriculum development, as well as trainings for staff and parent-teacher conferences. So we're in the midst of discussion with our teachers. Parent conferences have changed since a year ago. And so we're working with our teachers and with our families to determine whether or not the virtual parent-teacher conferences should be something that we should continue. We had some great feedback from parents, many of who felt that this was a much easier way for them to be able to have a conversation, not have to take a day off of work or half a day, and to be able to Zoom into a meeting. It seemed more timely and more efficient for many parents. So we're talking about perhaps a combination of the two for next school year and see how that may work out. So in terms of this calendar, the vote that we would be looking for would be to solidify the start and end date for staff. We also have a not a subcommittee, but a committee of teachers and administrators working on start and end times. Depending upon how we open up in September and the protocols that we have to continue to follow, we may still need to keep times a little bit separate at the elementary for a number of purposes, but social distancing being one of them. So an altered start and end time may continue to be necessary. I think we'll be able to solidify that towards the end of the school year. So not having the start and end times of each individual school on here, I would say that they would probably remain the same as they are right now at each grade level, unless there is a major change in terms of what we have to do in each individual school. So the two big ticket items that are not on here that I can bring back to the committee would just be to clarify the half days as well as the start and end times. But as far as the first day of school, for staff, the first day for students, that is here on this calendar.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Brian,
That's discussion. I'm going to ask if someone has a motion to accept the proposed 2021 to 2022 school calendar. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Matucci. Do I have a second? Thanks, Ms. Powell. Second by Ms. Powell. Ms. Swope, discussion?
thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the calendar that I have, and maybe that's the earlier one, it says that the school would start on Monday, the 6th, but you said it would be starting on Tuesday, the 7th. Is that correct for students?
Yes, that's correct, because Monday is Labor Day.
Labor, okay, I see. All right, thank you. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Any further discussion on accepting the proposed 2021-2022 school calendar? Hearing none. Patty, can I have a motion? Can I have a roll call vote for the record?
Mr. Boncory?
You're on mute, Mr. Boncory.
Yes.
Mr. Capabianco?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Perrin?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no unfinished business. I believe the only unfinished business would be Mr. Liederman, if he was able to upload the most recent version, or if he's been able to call in.
He's been calling my cell phone and I haven't answered. I don't know if that's appropriate.
Unfortunately, it looks like he still has the old version of Zoom. I can't bring him over unless I promote him to a panelist.
Promote him from.
But, I'm sorry, Mr. Boncory?
Tell you, why don't you just promote him, let him come on? I mean, business is finished essentially.
Correct. So unfinished business, you can bring him over so he can make his public comment.
Okay. Mr. Lederman? There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Perrin?
Yep.
Members of the school committee, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you for returning the students to Winthrop High School. The athletic teams have done exceptionally well. The football team won the Northeast Conference South title, and as an ex-Winthrop High athlete, it was a great season for Winthrop athletics, not only on the football field, but all over the athletic fields. I'd like to praise the two members of the athletic subcommittee, Mr. Capabianco and Mr. Martucci, for their leadership. I've been the voice of Winthrop football for approximately 50 years, from 1970 to the present year. I began my Winthrop High School broadcasting career in 1970. I broadcast 5 Winthrop High School Super Bowl games. I've also broadcast hockey, basketball, in addition to football. I want to return to broadcasting the Winthrop High Vikings football games this September through November, and I ask for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Lederman. That's a personnel matter that I believe goes before the principal of the school.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, it has to go through the principal of the school. The school committee has no jurisdiction over hiring, firing, or suspending.
Should I contact Mr. Crombie?
I would start with Mr. Crombie, correct?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jim. I think
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levy. Anything further?
No, I just thank you for your support.
Thank you.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
Any, Patty, can I get the roll call vote, please? I'm a little rusty.
Yes, Mr. Boncory?
Yes.
Mr. Capabianco?
Yes.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Perrin?
Yes, Mr. Lederman? He's still a panel member.
No, you can't get off that.
Okay, that's it. That concludes our meeting for this evening, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.